Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. We have another reading vlog for you. What? Who is she? So on my bingo board, I said that I wanted to have 6 reading vlogs come out in 2025. I've already done the first one and it's mid-February. I think that my stretch goal is to do 12 reading vlogs in the year of 2025. So in February for my TBR game, I picked new to me reading vlog. And initially I was like, ooh, okay, I can do like new to me authors, which this kind of is, but more than that, this is like out of my comfort zone, new to me subgenres of a genre that I enjoy. So the Swoony readers are putting on this month-long Swoony reader-a-thon, rom-com-a-thon, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the whole point is to read romance and get bingos, and I got my first bingo, but I'm really trying to get a blackout. So I could just go forward with this reading vlog, trying to get a blackout on the bingo board. But, you know, that's not good enough for me. So I am terrified of this reading vlog. I hope that it came out very well. I am going to read between 3 and 7 dark romance books. So here's the thing. I don't read dark romance ever. I'm a rom-com connoisseur. I love thriller and horror novels, which is this shelf. But behind you, I'm going to show you my romance shelves, which are all rom-coms. So I obviously need to organize my bookshelves a little bit better, but they're very much like romance, rom-com heavy, like. But I was at the bookstore with my daughter and she went and got like some comics and stuff, and that was cool. But I went down the dark romance aisle and there were quite a few authors and quite a few series, which, like, I don't read series either, if you didn't know. But there were a lot of books that I've heard of, and even some that sound pretty good. So I have 2 physical books and 1 Kindle book on my TBR. Although, on my digital TBR, I have about 10 to 12 dark romance books now, because I got all the free ones that sounded good. I definitely want to read His by Aubrey Dark. This follows a girl, a woman. I don't know her name. That's not even important. She was like Nancy Drewing it up. She was investigating this man who she thought had killed some people. So of course she like goes rogue and goes Nancy Drew and like investigates him and follows him. And he leads her to his house. Not only his house, but his basement, where she is now handcuffed to the radiator. And in the synopsis it says something about his kiss was intoxicating. So it's a dark romance between a serial killer and Nancy Drew. but not Nancy Drew, obviously. Like, just private investigator. I don't even know if she's a private investigator or she just chose to investigate this guy because she thought he was sus. Anyways, that one's definitely on my TBR. And then I have 2 physical books. And if I read other digital books off my digital collection, I will talk about them later. These are the 3 that I'm hoping for sure to get to. And I'm not one of those booktubers that can set a plan and be like, oh, I'm gonna for sure read these 7 books in 7 days. Yeah, no, that doesn't work for me. I change my plan a lot and I change my books a lot. I went rogue and did not do any of the read any of the books that were actually on my TBR this month. Instead, I just read whatever I wanted. But let's get back to Target. These are the 2 dark romances that I own physically that I actually just bought them. So this is Priest by Sierra Simone. Forgive us our sins. He's a priest, and here is his confession. There are many rules a priest can't break. A priest cannot marry. A priest cannot abandon his flock. A priest cannot forsake his God. Tyler Bell has no problem playing by the rules for the past 3 years after a family tragedy set him on the path to priesthood. That all changes when the delicious voice of Poppy Danforth sinks its claws in him through the screen of his confessional booth, and he can't get her sins out of his head. So, Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. This is a dark romance. I think it's the first in a series. Yeah, the Brutal Birthright series. So there's Brutal Prince, Stolen Heir, Savage Lover, Bloody Heart, Broken Vow, and Heavy Crown. Oh, okay. They're a match made in hell. The Griffins and the Gallows have been battling for control of Chicago's underworld for generations. Their rivalry has always been flammable, but it reignites with a fury when Ada, the youngest and wildest Gallo sibling, crashes a party at the Griffin mansion and accidentally sets fire to the library. To starve off all-out war, her father quickly arranges a marriage between her and Callum Griffin, eldest son and heir to the Irish Mafia. Ooh. Okay, so here's the thing. On the bingo board, one of the prompts is marriage of convenience. And I was having a hard time figuring out what I was going to use for that because I don't read marriage of convenience books. But this I feel like should count, but oh my goodness. This has a playlist that you need to listen to. So I'm probably going to make that playlist and read this book at some point. But those are the 3 that I definitely want to read. There's also Misconduct by Penelope Douglas. This one is about a professional tennis player and her coach. I meant to update you guys earlier. I'm still in reading sprints with the Swoony readers. And so, I started his by Aubrey Dark. That sounds right. Clearly a fake name. I'm reading it. Actually, it's free on Audible Plus. catalog, so I'm listening to it. I'm not right now. Right now I'm just in the live show, but it's reading sprint part. I might finish this either tonight or in the morning, but it's already 9:30 and I still have 2 hours left of the audiobook. So I'm kind of hoping that I'll finish it tomorrow. But I'm about halfway and it is so weird. Like, I don't know, I went in thinking that I wasn't gonna like this book because essentially you're following this woman who's being held captive by this man that she stalked, that she followed home. And I mean, did she though? Because see, they meet at the library and her friend who knows that she hasn't like done any she hasn't been active in a few months, decides that she's gonna dare her to kiss the most attractive man in the library. And so she gets up and she kisses him and then she follows him home. And he is a serial killer, and it kind of turns her on. And it's weird. I'm not hating it. I'm not loving it. It's really weird, some of the kinks that she likes. But, like, who am I to judge? I mean, I don't know. It feels very, very weird. Because I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's not going to be a new favorite, but it might be like a solid 4 stars. Here's the thing that I'm really loving about this book is that, like, the tone. Yes, it's a very active, adventurous time and dark and scary because, like, for part of the time I wasn't really sure what was going on. But now I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. But also, just the storytelling in it itself is really interesting because it's kind of like, yeah, it feels like the reader, the way, I don't know how to explain this. So the way that they talk to each other is so kind of cringe, but kind of like fun. And it feels like, I don't want to say it feels like we're there because that's weird and totally unnecessary. But it kind of does feel like I'm a fly on the wall. That feels so weird to say because this is a dark, I wouldn't even say romance. I would say dark erotica. Yeah. Is it romance? I don't see them actually falling in love, but I see them doing things together. Like, I don't know if that made sense at all. I'm probably gonna finish this either tonight or tomorrow, but I really should go to bed because I have work tomorrow. Anyways, the next time I see you, I will have better thoughts. Potentially. I finished His by Aubrey Dark. I don't know what to think of this book. I knew that it was about this woman who was being held hostage, and she falls in love with her captor. And yeah, like okay, here's a question for the dark romance girlies out there. I am new to dark romance, and I typically read my fluffy rom-com type of romances, like the feel-good, the lighthearted ones. And I mean, some of mine cover really hard topics, but they're not like dark. So to all the dark romance girlies out there, why do you read dark romance? Like, does it make you feel things? Because I am a very emotional person in my life, and I love to read things that evoke a strong emotion in me. Whether it be my happily ever after romances that just make me feel giddy and amazing, or it's my horror thriller novels that scare me or just give me anxiety. I read to get those emotions. So here's my problem with this book. I didn't buy it. And like, I did not care. I didn't feel invested. And I just didn't understand it. Not that I have to understand every relationship in the world or in the fiction world. But like, I just didn't understand. And to be honest with you, I wish it would have ended differently. I wish it would have ended way differently. That was the most excitement I got, was towards the end, where I thought something was gonna happen, but of course, cheesy cliches happened instead. So I was very disappointed with that ending. I thought this was fine. I keep going from a 2 to a 3, so maybe 2.5. I'm not entirely sure, but it was fine. I just didn't have an emotional connection to either character. I did think that it was really cool that Kat was bookish, so I might count this as my bookish prompt. But it was very lackluster for me. I'm wondering if dark romance is not for me. Maybe I just started with the wrong one, because in my head, when I was reading the synopsis and getting ready to read this book, I was like, oh my god, this sounds so good. It's like a captor and a captive fall in love, and it's like spicy. It was spicy, but in many, many times I just felt icky, like reading about their spice scenes. And I've read spicy books before, but they were written differently. So I'm not entirely sure what's wrong with his, but I wanted to love it, but I didn't. I started Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. And it's not spicy as of yet. I know that it gets spicy. Here's the thing. It's like a mafia romance. It's very much enemies to lovers, which I love enemies to lovers or hate to love in the rom-com section. Usually it's hate to love. They're not actually enemies where they want to kill each other. This one is definitely more enemies. Their families hate each other and there's a lot going on. And then Ada, I think that's her name. I think her name is Ada. She burns down the Griffin's like house or something. I don't remember. But she starts a fire at the Griffin's place. And she is her and the Gallo, she is part of the Gallo family. And it's reading very Romeo and Juliet, but make it mafia. I don't know. I only made it 36 pages in because I was tired last night. So maybe I can read some more later. I have lots of appointments today with my kids. So you guys might not see me until tonight or tomorrow. But I'm not certain about this one. And I know that people love this series. So morning. It has been a few days. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I have made some growth in here. I mean, I'm on page 81. I think last time I saw you, I was on page 47. So very, very, very slow read for me. I love this cover. But Brutal Prince, oh man. We haven't gotten into any of the spicy scenes yet because we're still in the setup phase of the whole relationship, the whole thing. So we follow the Griffins and the Gallos, who are basically like Romeo and Juliet's families. They're arch enemies and they hate each other, and there's like an underground war going on. And I still don't quite understand that, but Ada, the main girl's name is Ada. She's a firecracker. She was mad at the Griffins, and she went to their like mansion, I think, and she lit their mansion on fire. And of course her dad, who is one of the mob bosses, and the Griffins are the other, you know. So Daddy Gallows found out that she lit the Griffin's mansion on fire. She started this fire, and now to make it up to them, he basically puts his daughter Ada up to the Griffins. He's like, here, I volunteer her as tribute. So he basically gives his daughter Ada to the Griffins, and the oldest Griffin, Callum, is going to marry her. So that's all that the first 80 pages was. And like, you kind of get to know Ada and you get to know Callum a little bit. And I surprisingly don't hate Ada. as much as I thought I would. Like, she's kind of a firecracker. She's kind of cool. I don't feel the romance or the tension or the chemistry between Ada and Callum. I think it's just gonna be, once we get there, I think it's just gonna be sex. Like, I'm sorry, but I think that's all it's going to be. So I'm bored. I am so bored with Brutal Prince. Sorry. But I'm starting to wonder if dark romance isn't for me, or if I just need to find the kind of dark romance that I like. Because, you know, I read his pretty close to a week ago now. The secrets that you hear as a booktuber, like, these do not happen instantly. Sometimes they take months. But it's been about a week. And you know what? Last time I updated you on his by Aubrey Dark, I think I said something to the effect of, like, it's fine. I'm gonna give it like a 2 or 3. And I'm pretty sure I did give it 2 stars. But here's the thing. That stayed with me. And I do not like the characters, and that's the whole reason that I was gonna give it 2 stars, was because, like, here's the thing, I read thriller and I read horror novels, and I love those, and that's fine if I don't like the main character. But in romance books, I feel like I have to like the main character. At least a little bit. I did not like either of the characters in that, but it was a fun time. So I'm gonna boost that up to 3 stars. It was fun, but I don't know, I just need some. Prince by Sophie Lark. I didn't like it. Okay, I'm giving it 2 stars because, like, the writing was good, and I know that there's an audience out there. I mean, there's an audience for every book, but I'm just starting to think that dark romance is not for me, not my cup of tea. I like the very girly, the very fun, like, happily ever after type swoon-worthy books where I can swoon over the characters and that I can love them. And the problem with dark romance for me is that I can't swoon. I mean, I can, but I can't because they're so unlikable and I don't like them. They're so unlikable. I don't like them. And I don't even mind the smut scenes. Like, that's fine. There's some questionable content in his by Aubrey Dark. So, like, check the triggers, or, like, just know what you're comfortable with, because that was, there were some things that they did that, ooh. But I'm trying not to judge. I'm not judging, okay? I'm just super bored with dark romance. And I do have other options. And I kind of want to finish this vlog. But at the same time, I'm really just not enjoying anything. So I have Priest by Sierra Simone. I have a few different Penelope Douglas books, so hopefully they're kind of going right there. And I have, I don't know, I'll just put a bunch that are on my digital TBR, because the only one that I have physically anymore is Priest. It is later and we went grocery shopping, so I have to put away the groceries. But I just barely like started listening to Broken Highs Hills High School. It makes me super uncomfortable because I'm over 30 years old and this is a high school, like, smutty romance. So okay, I'm home, and I'm at